see what it's like just to fall in place.
I spent my time falling only not to land on feet.
Well, hello. Apex finally releases some new content, huh? And you were just trying to have fun with skill-based matchmaking. But for real, I'm really glad for this new event. I think it's a lot of fun. We're gonna kind of talk about my takeaway from it, and we're gonna go over all the important parts to make sure that besides from technical skill, you can be well prepared enough to win all these gunfights here. Gotta go. A couple things that we'll be talking about in this video. Primarily, I want to cover loadout, all the different drop locations, legends, briefly, and overall strategy. Basically like an overall thought process of how to approach this new mode. Without further ado, let's get into it. So with the loadouts, they change off the legends, so I'll be mainly referring to the guns that you get with them. And my favorite, I think, A tier, S tier, whatever, everyone's doing tier lists now. So S tier, we'll call the Havoc with the turbo and the Wingman with the blue mag. And a lot of people complain about the iron sight or the sight on the Wingman, and we'll talk about how to handle that later. But other good loadouts are the Prowler Wingman, Flatline P2020, Scout R99, Longbow Alternator with the purple mag. Classes like the Scout R99, they're really good. They obviously have the best weapons, but they don't come with mag. And Havoc Wingman, no one likes the 1-2 really. No one likes the hollow for the Wingman. How you can supersede all that BS around the class, you can just drop it, or you can just switch it. You can even Voltron, as I would call it, a certain character. Like with the Scout R99, you could pick the Longbow Alternator and go ahead and take that purple mag off the alternator and give it to the person with R99, and all of a sudden they're way more lethal than what they should be allowed to be. Since I found that out, I basically run exclusively Havoc with the turbocharger and Wingman with the blue mag. As far as legends are concerned, I think all legends are good. I mean, it's really more important the weapons that you're bringing along. I think even the tanks are really good in this mode, all of them. Gibraltar's really good. With Gibraltar, you can peek out the top and basically have crouch cover. You can sit inside the bubble from the top of the train if someone throws it inside the train. And obviously there's faster healing, and the extra cover is really good. Also, Gibraltar's a thick body to cover up a lot of those small angles that are available on the train. Caustic's obviously good because of his gas. Can't really deny a Caustic space because the gas lasts forever, and there's very limited space to stand on the train. And Watson obviously is always good. Her tactical abilities are good, the defenses, because there's only so many ways to get inside the train. And also grenades are a very real thing. Everyone spawns with 2, so the generator is very good at denying those from just completely fragging your entire team. And then all the other characters, you can play them however you will. You can use like a flanking Pathy or Wraith, or hunt down people with Bloodhound. We'll talk about overall strategy. It really doesn't matter. I would recommend you play one of the tank characters just because I think it's important to have somebody on cart. With the drops, we'll start with Train Yard. Train Yard is fun because it's basically in Capital City. It's like the only one that's like actually in the city. You can drop on the roof of the train yard and have a pretty good angle down on it. So because of this, I think a very good play style is to initially drop on the skyscraper roofs and clear the people off the train yard roofs before you jump down onto the train. People do like to camp this mode out a lot, so it's a good idea to kill people or at least clear them out. Most legends can't get back on the train yard roof once they fall down, so once you clear them out, you're pretty good unless you're like Pathfinder. Other than that, yeah, the buildings, they're good to hold up in. The buildings around have a pretty good angle onto the train yard, but obviously the train yard has high ground most over those angles other than a select few. So holding on the train yard is pretty good in its own right. Tunnel outside of Overlook. There's lots of sight lines here. Very open. There's not a whole lot of cover that isn't a million miles away from the train. Usually if you land away and off of the train, you're gonna get into a fight with the people who aren't on it and just flat out lose. So I would recommend that you land either on the train itself or in the red boxes with the Christmas tree, because that has cover And also that ledge there is close enough to touch if you're playing chicken with the other team while someone else is on the train. Capitol, so outside of Capitol, the tunnel outside of that. A lot of people go to the house. I think that whole side is actually a mistake. It's the same problem from Overlook Tunnel, a lot of open sight lines, except from here, the train actually, you can stay on train and have really good angles. Basically every position on this part of the map, you can see the roof. It's just impossible to defend yourself. And I think the close side of the train has that immediate high ground on it, except for the back cart. And the back cart of the train here is really, really good because there's not that little piece of high ground at the station itself. And you're touching train and all that good stuff. Enemies got to come to you. You have a good angle to the house. I like the back cart a lot. And then finally, refinery. Now, the roof is good on refinery. It's okay. There's, you know, obviously good angles down to the bottom, but to peak those angles, you have to put yourself in a very, very open position. So like if you control the roof and only you, obviously it's the best place to be, but still you gotta touch cart. I think it's honestly best to drop down below and hold from there, just because there's a lot more angles to peek the people peeking the roof. And there's a lot more angles to peek the people on the cart. Just keep that in mind. In refinery, I don't like to dick around too much on the roof. I feel like the teams that fight up there typically lose because they're caught fighting each other and putting bullets in one another, while the people on the ground floor are like, what the hell, where is everyone? Okay, so moving on to legends. I think they all have their place. Like I said before, if you're familiar with Rainbow Six Siege, you know the term anchoring or anchor and roamer. So the anchor is the person who sits on the objective or somewhat near it and holds important sight lines that basically give control to the point. So those characters typically are thicker. A lot of them have long range sights. So those would be like your tank characters. And I think you need one of them. I think you just need one. So you only need one person on the train. My advice would be to have that anchor there, and then have two quote-unquote roamers go around the sides and get those deadly angles and basically peel the enemy, right? So the roamer's job is to go out there and hold off not necessarily objective positions, but enemy positions where the enemy's gonna want to go. They want to take that spot away. They want to make them feel uncomfortable, right? You don't want to be just a shield. You want to have a little bit of sword there to you. On the train, there's only limited angles, but when you're outside peeking from the other sides of the train is actually very, very open, and you can easily just shred somebody before they realize what's going on in this game. The time to kill is so fast. Which is much like R6, where the time to kill is just one headshot. It's not that fast, but it is pretty quick. So you're best off just having, you know, your Jibby, your Caustic, or your Watson on there. One or two, just depending on how safe you want to feel, and then one or two people on the outside of the train, hunting them down, getting them kills. And on top of that, the other thing that I want to talk about with the strategy is I think that holding the train a lot of the time is more important than not being the first person there, and having the team need to come to you can be such an underrated thing. Playing chicken with the other team is fun. It's definitely a way to force them to fight each other. If you don't necessarily have train, like let's say you lost the last round and time's ticking down and the meter's going up, don't be scared to just wait. Just wait for the other enemy to freak out and jump on, you know, just play chicken with them. And then once they start fighting, go in there and clean up like a third-party scrub. Anyway, I really do like this new mode. I hope I get to play it when I get back. You know, I'm gonna be missing it the entire time I'm down in Florida. I'll be back in exactly a week from now. By the time this video goes up, I'll be leaving for my flight. So, yeah, I hope you all have a very fantastic week without me here. I'll be missing you all. Shout out to the DLive community. Shout out to the MedLE crew. Yeah, so this will be my first video with my upgraded rig. Let me know what you guys think of the quality. Let me know how much more watchable it is. I think it looks better. Other than that, have a good time. See you guys later. Bye bye.
In a bag or loose cloth, depending on who called the cops. Slide of life like pipes in action, beating meat, reflecting Shaggy. Looking back, not too shabby.
Tell me what it's like just to fall in place.
I spent my time falling only not to land on feet.